My name is Ty Bronner. I will be presenting over Machiavellianism, Power, and Achievement on Pusha T's It's Almost Dry. So my presentation will be based on a New Yorker article by Sheldon Pierce titled Luxury and Mockery on Pusha T's It's Almost Dry. In this article, Pierce does three main things. He addresses the ever-widening gap between Pusha T and his competition, material or otherwise, while also describing how he got there. He secondly details the fact that this album is a turning point in the career of Pusha T. And thirdly, finally, and most importantly, he describes the differences between Pusha T, the business, and Pusha T, the artist. Now, for the large part of my presentation, I will be focusing on the former part of the third point that Pierce is making, Pusha T as a business. Now, to understand this, it's essential to understand Pusha T's backstory. So, Pusha T was born Terrence LeVar Thornton on May 13th, 1977. He was born in the Bronx. However, by age 2, his family moved to Virginia Beach. Where he grew up, living in the city was a very tumultuous time. It was the birth and height of the crack epidemic in America. Pusha credits this as completely and ultimately shaping his life. In the second song on the album, Let the Smoker Shine the Coops, he says, the dope game destroyed his youth. And he looked at the world that he was living in, and by 16, he began to sell cocaine. However, he did not stay on the streets for very long. Within years, he was his own business of sorts. And through the years, he's been able to manage and apply lots of the core concepts and theories we've discussed in class to his own business and dealings. First one I would like to begin with is Machiavellianism. This is defined from Niccolo Machiavelli, an Italian who was a diplomat and author in the 16th century, largely known for his work, The Prince. The Prince is a book about control and power, how to obtain control and power, and how to maintain the vice grip on it so that no one else will ever achieve it. And that is precisely Pusha. I mean, that's Pusha to a T, no pun intended. On his song Call My Bluff, a title which is somewhat Machiavellian, Pusha has a line to finish the verse where he says, promises are where you follow through with your threats. And again, he is following in the footsteps of what Machiavelli wrote in The Prince. And Pierce sees this too. Pierce likens Pusha to De Palma's fictional kingpin Alejandro Sosa from Scarface, and he says that the two seem to share a cutthroat demeanor and a penchant for dispatching foes. And much like Machiavelli wrote, to summarize, but if you're dispatching foes, there's no one that can take power from you, and Pusha knows that. Pusha realized that, and that's why he stayed at the top. Secondly, Pusha satisfies the identity for need for achievement, which is one of McClellan's theories of motivation. Now, individuals that identify like this tend to follow other individuals that are very high achievers, and Pusha is no different. Pierce says in the article that Pusha has built a reputation as a relentless rhapsodist, culminating in a Grammy nomination. He goes on to say that this record seems to elevate him to a new echelon of fame. And Pusha just backs this rhetoric in his music. In the third song on this album, Dreaming of the Past, Pusha says, they censor and block me. You all are in top 5, but I only see top me. Pusha knows he is at the best of his game. Very quickly, he turns around and compares himself to another one of the greats in a different industry, albeit, but he says walk him down like Brady. I just get better with time. And of course, he's referring to Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time. And it's no coincidence that he's likening himself to Tom Brady. He views them as similar. I mean, the amount of achievements that in their respective fields, they have nothing to prove to others, and yet they're still at the top of their game. And that's what Pusha is saying. And that's why he's so high in identifying for need for achievement. And finally, Pierce points out his need for power and that the way he identifies there. Individuals that identify highly with a need for power typically very quickly go to the top of their industry by quick changes and positions in leadership, making a large impact on their job. And after owning his own business and then making music, Pusha has made a massive impact by doing that. And Pierce sees that. He sees the need for power here, and he says, describing the album, it's almost as leisurely as it is confrontational. It's performed from a position of casual, assumed superiority. To succeed in a bracket that Pusha is in, you have to have the cutthroat demeanor, the need for power combined with those Machiavellian traits. And those two mix into a perfect storm for Pusha's achievement and the need for achievement that we've discussed. So ultimately, through Pusha's lyrics and through Pierce's article, it's clear to see how many countless applications Pusha, through his music and his business, can have to our course. Thank you.